Open Series. I'm Gavin Verhey, joined here with Joey Pasco, and we're bringing you live coverage of Star City Games Open Series here in San Jose. We're going into round 5. We're about to show this feature match between two players, one you know, one you might not have heard of. On the left, the man himself, LSV, Luis Scott Vargas.
He's the one you probably heard of.
He's the one you've probably heard of. He's, won Pro Tours. He's done it all, basically. And he even has a goatee now. Like, what more could you possibly want? So LSV is playing Counterbalance top. We saw his deck list earlier. It's a little different from stock. It's got like a main deck Pyroblast, a main deck Repeal, one Vidalian Click, some spicy one-ofs, but it's pretty close. As you can see, he's happy, pretty happy there. On your right, someone you might not know, Brett Allen. He originally lived in Seattle, and we hung out a lot at PTQs. He moved down to California a few years back. He's playing Green and Taxes, which Louis Laskin, right? Mm-hmm. Made top 8 with last week. And the cool thing about Brett Allen is we'll get deck lists here in a moment, but he usually varies up the deck lists, add in some cute little things. So I'm curious to see what Brett Allen has added to this deck.
Yeah, it looks like Laskin came in 4th place.
Yeah, and let's bring up the deck list so we can kind of see what we should be expecting.
So this is the deck list from last week, just to keep that in mind. This is not the same list, or potentially not the same list that Brett Allen is running. We've got Jotun Grunt, which was one of those cards where I was like, I remember it being 4/4, but I can't remember what it did. It's 4/4 for a white and 1 creature giant soldier, uncommon from Cold Snap. The cumulative upkeep is to put 2 cards in a single graveyard on the bottom of their owner's library. So obviously you need to have a stocked graveyard for the Jotun Grunt to be online. But Aether Vial, Sword of Fire and Ice, Knight of the Reliquary, Mother of Runes, which is a big one. Mother of Runes was one of those cards I remember playing with that in Standard, and it was just so good, just to have that sitting there. Like, good luck.
Yeah, I mean,
dealing
it's
with
such a hard card to defeat.
Right. Kasali Pride Mage, Stoneforge Mystic, Tarmogoyf, Swords to Plowshares, 1 copy of Umezawa's Jite, Gaddock Teague, and Mangara of Corondor, who we were talking about earlier, is one of the Time Spiral rares that it's got the ability to tap it. And see, now this is important too. The cost is just to tap it. The effect is to remove Mangara of Corondor and target permanent from the game. So the reason that's relevant is because the list also runs Caracas, which is a legendary land, old legendary land from Legends, and it can tap for a white, and it can also tap to return target legend to owner's hand. So what happens is you activate Mangara's ability, and with it on the stack, you use Caracas' ability to return Mangara to your hand. Then the effect resolves, but Mangara is in your hand now, and you get to remove the permanent from the game and then reuse Mangara of Corondor. Right. So you, with Aether Vial in play, it can be really sick because you just have this reusable Vindicate. In the meantime, matches started.
Yeah. And I have his deck list, and this is spicy. So Brett has made some modifications. So at the first glance, things looked pretty similar. He's got like a 1 Mox Diamond. Okay, sure, whatever.
Right.
A little bit of acceleration. He has Sword of Fire and Ice. Did Lewis have Sword of Fire and Ice? I don't think he did.
No, I did not.
Okay, so he's got Sword of Fire and Ice. But here's the big difference: 1 Bayou, 2 Scrubland, 3 Dark Confidant.
Ah. So it's not just Green and Taxes. It's Green and Taxes.
It really is Death and Taxes now.
Yeah, this is more Death and Taxes, right?
So I mean, he just has those Dark Confidants. 3 is kind of a strange number, but I'm sure he's got reasoning. The 4 was scratched out on here, so I think he must have made a last-minute cut of a Dark Confidant.
In the meantime, he did have Mother of Runes in play, which got plowed. I guess
the Mother of Runes is gone, but that Aether Vial's ticking up, which will be pretty good for him here.
Yeah, so he's got an Aether Vial on 2 counters and another one that has 0 counters. Aether Vial is one of those cards that was deceptively good. I remember when it was in Standard, it didn't even occur to me that that it was, putting the creature card into play. I wasn't really thinking of it in terms of, oh, that means this can't be countered. I mean, when I first read the card, like, it literally just puts it into play. This is, back in 2003 when I guess I wasn't looking at the rules like that. At least I wasn't thinking about the cards in the same way when I'd first read them. So
yeah, and I mean, it also gets around restrictions. You can put like Silver Girl Adept and
Yeah.
Sarah Avenger on the battlefield with Aether Val. So joining us is Star City Games Standard Open champion Adam Prozac.
Again.
Not so good with
No,
with the extended portion.
It's just how I drew it up, by the way.
Yeah.
O2 Legacy.
O2 Legacy after being here. So you're out of the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
long dead.
So decklists are here. So we've got LSV with countertop
And he does have a counterbalance on the board right now.
playing with a deck that
A
looks.
blind counterbalance. And
Yep. And a Jace.
Playing it-
Not
and then,
such a blind
Brett Allen
counterbalance.
is playing a deck that looks very much like something that Alex Tamplin would build. It is
Green in taxes with,
With
Dark
Dark
Confidant.
Confidant.
I like it. No, I'm down.
and so.
Dark Confidant is exactly the type of
but
card
only
that's really
three,
nice in
only
this
three
deck.
Dark Confidants.
Well, look, he almost was gonna play 4.
Yeah, he's
but he had to
scratching
make.
Consistency.
You have to make room for the Mangara.
Yeah, the Megaras are kind of cute, and only a 3.
They're so cute.
The only 3 night are the reliquaries, which is kind of
Right,
weird. too.
yeah, Mangara, real important.
Right.
Well, like, okay, take a look at this. Every one of these cards is in any reasonable cube except for one.
Is that Mangara corridor?
Yeah.
Well, so we should.
Well, Caracas isn't in every cube.
That's fair, but it probably should be in a lot of
It's
cubes.
it's really good.
Like, I mean, so the thing is, I think it's actually a good metric. You look at a legacy deck and see how many cards from a cube it's playing, and then you're like, oh, well.
Yeah, exactly.
That seems pretty reasonable to me. Like,
I mean, not necessarily. Like, if you're playing a linear deck,
right, like if you're playing a combo or whatever, sure.
Yeah.
Like,
man, none of these Charbelcher cards are in my cube.
yeah, dagger.
But if you're playing like just a normal deck, like look at Luis's deck. How many cards aren't in the cube? Like counterbalance,
Counterbalance, maybe not.
Pyroblast, awkward. Yeah, that's how you know Pyroblast is terrible. Like, 'cause, you know.
Shouldn't be in the cube. Although I could see Power Blast in the cube. It's kind of if you play with sideboards, it's okay.
Jace Beleren, nice.
Yeah. Jerry and Luis were apparently having some arguments about Jace, and Luis wanted to run them. Jerry didn't. So.
This isn't standard. Like, I'm not. You don't play Jace Beleren in Legacy. It's your. This is your big finish. You know what I mean?
So while we were busy talking about how awesome
Did Brett just
cube cards,
concede?
or
did he win?
No, Brett won that game.
Bro, oh, he had guys in play?
Yeah,
Oh, he had the
Brett had guys.
vials.
He had double
yeah,
vials and
completely makes sense.
no good.
He snuck some creatures into play. Or,
Aether Vial, now that's a card.
yeah. See, that's a good card.
So you're a counterbalance player, Adam. Like you know how this matchup kind of goes. What do you think is important here, like for Luis?
It absolutely hinges on Aether Vial.
Okay.
Let's see. Does Luis have Needles? Needles the best card of all time.
Yeah, there are 2 needles in his board.
Okay, just in his board. Like, part of the reason I want it, like, in counterbalance, part of the reason I still play Trinket Mages, you want redundancy on tops. And that's nice. But the Pithing Needle, you get it so often. It's so good.
Right. So do we think Luis brings in here? Do we think the Sower's probably, right? So Sower,
Yeah, Sower's-
Needle, Submerge for sure.
Yeah, Submerge is the greatest card of all time.
There's only one, which I was kind of surprised about.
Well, it kind of...
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
What do you think is Jace? Greatest
Everything's
card
the
of all
greatest
time.
card of all time. I mean, if it's in my Legacy deck, it's awesome.
or in a cube.
Yeah, that too.
So Mangara Corridor, not so much.
No, not so much. The rest of the deck, I like Brett's deck. This deck looks really, really powerful.
Yeah, I agree. Like that, the addition of Dark Confidant seems awesome. And he's got even Sword of Fire and Ice, which is a pretty sweet little one you can tutor up with your Stoneforge Mystics.
Yeah, I think there are too many Stoneforge Mystics. I'm not a huge, like, equipment's just not all that good in
Like, I mean, I'd play the GT, sure. Or I'd be fine just maybe cutting the Mystics and just jamming GT, right? Like, you don't even need them.
That's fine as
Just
well.
adds +2 to your GT cost.
Right. So sometimes you vial them in, and you know.
How do you feel about Gaddock Teague in this format? Is it just insane?
It's not insane, but it's fine. It's like Meddling Mage, only you never mess up.
That's a good quote. Can we tweet that, please?
Right. I got it.
That's exactly what it is. But Meddling Mage is insane if you always hit. Like, Cabal Therapy is awesome
Right.
if you hit.
Right.
And that's why people don't play. Like, it's too hard to, like, you're lying to yourself if you think you're going to hit on everything.
Right, sure. Yeah, this deck looks pretty cool. Mother of Runes is like really
Yeah,
powerful.
Mother of Runes is one of the reasons. One card I actually really, a friend of mine in Phoenix plays the blue-white version of it.
Okay.
He actually made top 16 at Denver, Alex Kirchhoff. is his name, but he favors the blue-white deck, and I think the best card in his deck is Weathered Wayfarer.
Oh,
That card is
nice.
really impressive. Like,
Yeah.
you can do all sorts of tricks with it. Like in this particular deck, like it's not about what you can search up, but like how you reduce your land count
Yep.
temporarily. Like you have fetch land tricks. You activate a fetch land, respond,
Activate Weather Wayfarer.
fair, get another fetch land, and the same works with Wasteland.
Right, Wasteland. Yeah, you activate Wasteland in response, search up another Wasteland, right?
Right.
Yeah, that seemes really great. You can also find your Caracas if you play with Mangara Core.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it makes the Mangara like playable.
I mean, I think Mangaras are really cute. It is definitely the card that stands out the most to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I were to build this deck, I would play Vindicate.
I guess we are white, black.
Yeah. This is a Vindicate. Suspend one Vindicate.
I mean,
Unless you have a Caracas.
in which case, it's just the stones.
Well, you can't Aether Vial the.
So here we go.
Aether Vial.
Game start, and Aether Vial sticks.
Probably. It's always rough when you have the Brainstorm in response to your really awesome spell.
Yeah. And I thought they pushed that Aether Vial
we
into
don't
play,
have
so it
days.
evolved, but no dazes.
Okay. I don't think so. I don't agree with Jace, but you can play it here.
What don't you like out of the LSV's list?
I'm not a big Fire Spout fan.
Okay.
Obviously, I hate the main deck Fire Blast. There are plenty of non-blue decks, and it's not like all the non-blue decks are terrible or anything like that.
Right.
The Jace Balerians should be Mind Sculptors.
It's just 4 Mind Sculptors.
I mean, maybe not 4. I played 3.
And that's what Jerry was doing. So we've got a turn 2 counterbalance from Luis here, but that Aether Vial is going to be an issue.
Well, he also set up Luis knows the top card of his deck right now. So, Luis being Luis, I would fully expect him to either not have a 2 in his hand or have a 2 on top of his deck.
Yep.
If he has a 2, it's on top of his deck right now.
All right. Well, he's going to try this, and
Master.
Luis is so
leveled.
It's hard to know if he's a master or if he just was like,
Yeah, he's just like, I don't want him to thought seize this.
But it was good play. And there goes the top.
There's the top.
So he's got the combo, but that Aether Vial is going to pros potent. And there's a Croson Grip in Brett's hand right now. So
Croson Grip's interesting. I always wonder, like, you can definitely tell, like, who knows, like I say, if they think about when to grip. Most people that don't think about it will just end a tournament.
right.
Sometimes that's correct.
Sometimes
but
the
when
main
I
phase is
play,
right.
I always adjust my deck so that when I pass the turn, there's a 3 on top of my deck.
Right, exactly.
If possible.
Like I've activated it a lot in response to top activations and stuff.
Yeah.
That.
Or I mean, probably the safest time to do it is right before they draw.
Turn back on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, he has that, but he might not even need it. Like that Aether Vial is just
Like
you
he
said,
should
it's
do it
so
right
potent.
now. Right now.
Oh, and he
But
didn't.
But yeah, and who knows? At least, I mean, he put the 1 on top of his deck. I don't know how much. I have actually no idea how much Luis plays the format.
It's fair.
That's one of those things that like you
Doing it
need.
again. It's like it keeps coming on the floor.
Oh, be careful what you touch down there, Joey. We're having a.
There was a cord coming.
Good thing there's no video right now of us. I'm just saying that I'll just put that one out.
I think it was coming unplugged.
So
because it was stretched, the cord was stretched.
while we were temporarily away,
Oh, they were seeing it.
Dark
We weren't.
Confidant got vialed into play
Wow.
No,
and
we-
revealed a Gaddock Teague.
Dark Confidant is a spicy one off Aether Vial. I must say, I can get behind that interaction. And Mother of Runes, how's that? You're just gonna keep getting cards off that Dark Confidant, like.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't attack. Not sure what he was expecting.
Why didn't he
like
serve?
Vendilion Click would be a reason not to attack.
Except you got
Confidant.
Mother of Runes, right?
But like you don't want him to get like combo like Fire Spouted.
Sure.
If maybe Brett's of the opinion that if he just takes forever and just milks his cards,
Yeah.
he's just not gonna lose.
It's true. He's definitely a slow and deliberate player. I think my favorite story of Brett is the first deck list of his I ever saw was States right after Kamigawa came out. You remember, you played in that States, right, Adam? So you know what the format was like. It was like there was Affinity and there was like some Death Cloud.
Oh yeah,
and,
okay,
like,
yeah.
Like Kama's Reach was like your favorite card ever.
Yeah.
And so I look at his top 8 deck list. He wins States, and it's like all one-ofs. Like just literally, there's like 30 one-ofs, maybe 20, 30 one-ofs. It's insane. And so I finally get down and I see, oh, Gifts Ungiven, that makes sense. Like he's getting one-ofs, and I look, 1 Gifts Ungiven. So it's just, draw the right cards at the right time. And Brett's always one for modifying decks, playing spicy one-ofs in his creations. And these Arc Confidants are looking great. Like, it's a really nice addition.
That's not necessarily like a creation. Ooh, that's a.
Oh.
Man, he's just asking to get blown out by Fire Sprout here. Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
That's rough. Oh, okay. He has a Crocker, so there's no harm, no foul.
Fair. All right, that's legit.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good thing he had that Caracas. And there's Tarmogoyf, though, to create some problems.
That is actually going to create quite a few problems.
That guy's big. I've only had. You can use him on Gara Portal here.
He's not played his top yet. I don't see a top anywhere where it should be.
He might be on top of his library right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Or he might have had to tap out last turn to go. I think he put it on top of his library at some point. He had to go Fire Spout Tarmogoyf last turn.
Oh, he felt like he needed time to go Fire Spout?
Yeah, because with the Aether Vial, I don't know how relevant that's going to be.
That makes sense.
So, Alan fetches
like,
here.
Luis knows that he can't win a 1,000-turn game in this current.
Right.
I don't know if he has. You should know to bring in Needle, I would think. So, like.
Just so you know.
Yeah, so that Aether Vial comes. It's going to be really strong here.
Yeah, Aether Vial is one of those cards that, like, it just it gets right around countertop.
It invalidates most of the cards in Luis's deck.
Like I know in Merfolk that's huge too, right? Like Aether Vial in the Merfolk.
Yeah, that's how I lost every game.
Yeah.
All 4 of them I played today.
So here he goes using the Vial to play the Gaddock Teeg again. Yeah, he replays the Gaddock Teeg off of Aether Vial. Meanwhile, Croson grips the counterbalance.
He flips top for value.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. Then
That's
swords
nice.
to plowshares on the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, Brett's definitely back in the driver's seat.
Yep. And
Luis had a strong turn on his, but Brett just came right back.
That Aether Vial is just going to keep doing work.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what things I like. If Luis could somehow kill that was the one downside of swordsing there.
Right.
Because he tapped his Caracas. So
what was it that he used?
Is
it Fire Spout? Oh, he just cast Fire Spout just for the one.
Just
Gaddock
for Gaddock Teeg because Caracas.
Does that mean his last card might be Jace the Mind Sculptor?
Perhaps.
I mean, because why? I mean, how important is that Teeg really?
No. Well, Gaddock Teeg. Ooh, another one. Brutal.
Oh, that's.
Like, what about Teeg? What was that?
If he's gonna do anything, he can't just like take 2 a turn out forever.
Oh, right, sure.
This is his one chance. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. That's how he lands the Jace.
So
he uses swords to
I'm like, that
plowshares.
sword is really curious, except for
resolving
Jace the
Jace
Mind
seems okay.
Sculptor.
And now Vial's tapped, so we can't even a Vial on a guy end step and be like attack.
Right.
So yeah, see, he used the swords of plowshares, targeting the.
So Luis is going to get 2 brainstorms at least out of this.
Targeting the Gaddock Teeg, and then Alan had to use his Caracas to return the Gaddock Teeg to protect it, and that gave Luis Scott Vargas the window he needed to land Jace the Mind Sculptor. And of course, with the Aether Vial tapped at the end of LSV's turn, or during LSV's turn, Alan could not vial out the Gaddock Teeg.
New York Jets 14, New England Patriots 3.
Nice.
And that Aether Vial core is going to be a big issue.
Yeah. So.
Well, every creature that gets played is going to be a big issue, and that's the one defining thing about like every side. It's not like in Standard where some creatures' size matter. Every creature matters.
Right, because they're all huge, all the good ones, or they all have good abilities.
They all have good abilities. They all have relevant abilities in play. Like.
Right. So I mean, the thing about Jace is he could bounce that Knight here, but the next turn you can just kick the Vial up to 3, and then go end step Vial and Knight, and you can't deal with it.
And additionally, if he bounces the Knight, Gaddock Teeg is coming into play.
Right.
At the end of the turn. So.
Right. That just fights that Jace and takes it down.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so he's thinking, is that repeal? Yep.
Yeah, that's a nice one. A friend of mine in Phoenix told me to play repeals, and I actually played it for the first time, and repeal is actually pretty good.
You know what's in repeal's mana cost? An X symbol. If that Gaddock Teeg had been on the battlefied already, if he had Vial on his turn for once, he could not have cast that repeal. But because it's funny, because for every turn so far, he just keeps he's been main phasing it.
Oh, so he's going to use Sower of Temptation to steal the Knight of the Reliquary.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Steal the Knight.
Very nice. So he repeals the Aether Vial.
That game's good.
In response, Alan uses the Aether Vial to put a Gaddock Teeg into play. Aether Vial, or the repeal resolves. Aether Vial goes back to Alan's hand, and then LSV taps 4 for a Sower of Temptation, stealing a Knight of the Reliquary.
My favorite card.
It's actually kind of sick here.
That's the Mangara of
Cornor.
Right. So
Corondor.
yeah. So Alan just cast Mangara of Corondor, and then the Aether Vial, which we knew he had in his hand. He does have a live Caracas to return a legend, basically protect for this turn, protect his creatures. But
Also,
once that Mangara is active, he's got that combo kind of online, and Aether
Have
Vial
you guys gone over the combo
ticking
yet?
up. Yeah, we talked a little
Okay.
bit about it. Yeah, so the Aether Vial ticks up to
That's
3,
a
and
relatively
eventually.
new development, and
Yeah. I mean, I remember doing this back with Momentary Blink and Time Spiral Block.
right, it's the same
Yeah,
concept.
so basically, for those who are just tuning in, what you can do is Mangara of Corondor says tap, remove Mangara of Corondor and target permanent from the game. But because it's in the resolution instead of the activation, you can use Mangara on something, return it with Caracas, and then the rest of the ability will resolve and remove something. So Mangara's in your hand, and their guy is gone. You can hit lands, whatever you want.
Yeah, it's target
Hit
permanent.
counterbalance.
It's a reusable Vindicate.
Yeah, of course, resetting that vial was huge because now he has to risk casting it every turn. Oh, that fire spout is quite the beating.
So
And that
there's-
Reliquary is huge for Luis.
Yeah, there's a Fire
Also-
Spout from LSV.
That's fire spot number 3 this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
is.
this gives Brett the option of saving. I'm pretty sure saving your Mangara is correct.
And once again, if he had main phase, that is such a
Yeah, it's such a huge.
blow.
And it's such a small play. He played so, he's been playing very well this
Right.
game
Yeah.
from what we can see at least. And then just that one thing where he skips a turn of not having
I
Gaddock
think
Teeg in
what's
play.
likely happened is, he had Jace. He's like, okay, well, he has his forecasting cost spell and play. Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And then nope,
But
we got
the-
the one repeal.
And that's the thing about Gaddock Teeg is like you would never meddling mage a repeal.
No, but it does stop
Whatever.
it.
Right, but you get to name more than one card
Right.
as well. It's just not always the card you want to name.
Shuts off your own spells. I mean, so does Meddling Mage, but it's kind of awkward sometimes every now and then.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, so how big is that Knight of the Reliquary? Anybody have...
might as well be
any
800,
idea?
800.
Yeah, well,
It's probably at least 8.
it's pretty big. We know that, I don't know how much LSV just got in for, but we have the life totals in front of us with Brett Allen at 8 life and LSV at 22. Brett Allen's side of the board is empty. He
That
does
was
have...
lethal to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
It's
Mangara...
entirely possible that's lethal.
I mean, 'cause that's
Right, but
4/8.
he does have Mangara in his hand. Now,
I mean, that's not
whether or
even
not
gonna
it
trump, but
resolves,
That's going to help.
that's what I'm saying. Whether or not it resolves, so is he?
Not gonna lie, I might have wanted to Vindicate right here.
Vindicate that
Well, I mean,
sword.
there's counterbalance on the board. So
Yeah.
why did he let that resolve without even
Lu-
activating counterbalance?
I'm sure Luis knows.
Oh, he knew what the top was. That's right.
So he just lets that resolve count as the next one. He's gonna bounce the Mangara with Jace.
And that should be good.
Right.
Or dirtle around a little more.
I mean,
One of the two.
It's possible Knight isn't lethal yet.
Yeah,
So
that's,
he says
that's
bounce,
entirely possible.
swing, and we're gonna find out how big is the knight. Is it big enough for?
Looks like he's probably
No.
on one life.
Must be. It's got to be pretty low. I mean, that's. Yeah,
Yep.
one
Yep,
life.
and
Yeah, that
Brett
was
packs
it.
him in.
Okay, give me back my knight.
So he was topping, trying to find a fetch line. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, if
Um,
it's gonna put him at 1, then
Yeah, man, that repeal was such a blowout that
yeah.
game.
Seriously, like.
Just a matter of having that window to cast the repeal.
We'll do this after that. Just do each
Sound
other.
good? Yeah.
And then, yeah. So what are these guys going to be sideboard again? So you're a counterbalance player, Adam. What do we got out of LSV sideboard?
We're
here?
already in going to
I
game
mean,
3,
he,
so
he
they may
clearly
not
has
be.
all the fire spouts in the deck. He wants 4. I mean, like we said earlier, the submerge, the 2
Right.
needles, and the sowers, and that's.
All right. So nothing you think you would change for game 3.
No, I don't think anything. There's no like dazes or there's the spell pivots, but you don't want to either on the play or the draw.
Well, in that case,
In this matchup, at least.
that's fair. I mean, because now we see
There's all dudes. You don't want it against an Aether Vow deck very often.
right. I mean, now they've seen more of each other's decks, so
They
game
may
one
make a few
was pretty
changes here.
fast. So yeah, I mean, they're both going back to their sideboards, right?
Yeah,
That
there's
was
still
good to
more
see.
than half of the time left in the round, so they're comfortable as far
Right.
as
And LC's
First
like,
time.
ironically, LC's like, well, I'm gonna have Gaddock in his deck. Like, maybe this repeal isn't good anymore.
Yeah. But I think it's still very good. Like, repeal is very strong against Aether Vial.
Oh, for sure. Like, you know,
Just like you buy yourself. Not only do you buy yourself a ton of turns, but if you have it lets you try and counterbalance something again.
yeah.
So if you get the counterbalance in play, repeal is one of the better cards.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, who do you think is favored in this matchup in general?
You know, when I was looking at just the straight green in Texas deck that debuted last week.
Lewis Laskin was playing.
Yeah. I was really scared of that deck. That deck has a lot of cards you really care about. I would give Luis a slight edge, if only because of Fire Spout. But this is gonna. Whoever plays better draws better. Like, this is a match of magic. It's not.
Like,
I don't think the match. I don't think this game's gonna be determined by the respective decks. I think they're close enough.
I mean, they're two good players, and like the last two games were great to watch. Like, there's a lot going on.
Game 1 was,
especially game 2. Like, that was.
Game 2 was a nice game, and literally the smallest of mistakes just
Right.
steamrolled. Like, if he gets to keep his Aether Vial out, like, he gets to do stuff in time.
Right.
He gets to.
It's the Mangara end step, and then
Right.
untap Karakasa. Like, yeah, we've seen small mistakes be huge today, and that just shows you how skill intensive this format is. Like, the
It really
tiniest
is.
thing, especially with a deck like Counterbalance, where you like your brainstorms matter, right? Where what
Every-
order you
everything
do things
matters,
matter.
like-
yeah, it's absolutely wonderful.
I mean, and there are other games just like any format where you're just like, and then you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, like you play against
top
the Goblins.
counterbalance, nice storm deck.
Yeah, or you're like Goblins like, pile driver, war chief, pile driver, like, you know,
Right.
game over. But
But even then, like Goblins is a deck whose nut draw is actually not that good. It's like it's an overwhelming advantage type of deck. It's not a deck that tries to like nut draw you.
sure. All right, so the players have kept, and Vial again.
Vial on
Forcible
turn
from
1.
Luis.
Or either he doesn't have Force or he might have one of the Needles, which may or may not even be in his deck. Like, I don't know. Like, we've seen most of Luis's cards. I can't imagine, like, he had a counterspell last game, and that'd be one of the cards I would side out.
I mean, it's potentially that he boarded in Needle. Oh, yep, there it is.
Yeah,
There's
you
the
found
Needle.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I saw a Force
Yeah,
in his hand, and he takes up the Aether Vial just in case. Keep in mind, Brett does have Quasali Pride Mage in his deck,
Right,
so he can
exactly,
nug down that
and
Needle.
Mangara.
Yeah.
and Mangara. Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't stop him from ticking up. He just can't tap it to
Right.
put any creatures into
Right,
play.
it only stops activated abilities. So, cracks switches again. What are we going to see
Windswept
this
Heath,
turn?
yeah. Probably a Forest or a Plains, or at least a dual land that has both of those characteristics.
Or both.
Right.
So, here comes the 2-drop. Oh, there's Tarmogoyf. The 0-1 Tarmogoyf.
1-2.
Or sorry, 1-2. That's fine.
That's fine.
Sometimes you gotta squat. The thing about Tarmogoyf is every interaction now grows the Tarmogoyf.
Right, exactly. And so there's going to be a lot of interaction
Like
happening.
if Brett goes like creature, counterspell, attack you for 3.
Right. Interestingly enough, he chose to not take up the Aether Vial this turn.
Well, I mean, that doesn't make it bigger or anything.
Is that another vial stuck in? Oh, that is. It's another vial stuck in Brett's hand. So, like you were saying,
Brutal.
the needle just needled the 2 cards. Like,
Right. And with a card that does nothing but its activated, but it has no utility other than its
Right.
needleable. If you can needle a whole card, like it kind of sucks when you needle Wasteland because they still get to tap it for mana.
Alex Bertini
Bertini!
Bertini just walked by. He is currently 4-1 with his Merfolk deck after taking an early round 3 loss. And he is pretending to be the Hulk over here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've got Luis topping, and
We got two-
Brett makes a nice little play. I think a lot of players would just main phase the Wasteland there, but he waited till after Luis topped and had used his mana, figured out which card he wanted to go for the Wasteland.
Yeah.
These players are playing really tight, and like you said, it's really a match decided by like who plays better, I think.
Yeah, like if Luis is like on the assumption that Brett really needs his mana, like, and
Might just stack his cards.
might just stack the cards wrong, might put a 3-drop on
is
top,
that counterbalance?
or the wrong not put a land on top.
There it is, counterbalance.
So we've got counterbalance top and then Pithing Needle on
That's-
Luis's side, which is named
That's tough to
Aether
beat.
Vial, right?
Yeah.
So those Aether Vials, you know, they're sitting there, but they can't do anything.
Man,
at the
Pride Mage
moment.
has to resolve this
Luis
turn.
Luis is a huge favorite.
Right.
Now.
At the moment, it looks good for Luis, but
Luis put his head together. That was pretty awesome. But he just
That's
flips
the best.
the
Blind
Rainforest.
counterbalance. There's no better feeling than blind
man.
counterbalance, because like
You get him so often
everybody,
too.
well, everybody sculpts their game to get spells that they to make people blind counterbalance.
Swords to Plowshares on the Knight of the Reliquary that was just resolved during Brett Allen's turn. Now it looks like Luis is going to
he needs
probably top right
basically
now, or
1 to 2 more removal spells, and then he's got this game locked up.
I mean, he's got sword in his hand right now.
The whole goal of Luis's deck is to get his counterbalance top combination with it and take the Aether Vials out of the equation, either by countering them or in this case, needling them.
Yeah.
right. He is
and-
fighting with a Tarmogoyf right now, which is getting pretty fat.
And Brett just passes back.
Well, a lot of times when your opponent has active counterbalance top, the correct line of strategy against it is to accumulate cards of different costs.
Right.
In the hope of like maybe he has to like won't have a one turn, or like won't have enough mana to like change
The configuration at the top of his deck,
Right.
Or alternatively, he can wait for a Crossing Grip.
Right, exactly. And
Crossing
just
Grip
sit on
is
them.
valuable here too.
And Alan's got 2 grips and a Nature
Now,
Flame. which
now
I'm sure
what does he want to grip the needle and then just pop stuff out with the vial? Probably would be.
It would depend on the rest of his hand. I doubt
Right.
he has the cards to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
You pretty much, I think you would want to blow up.
Oh, so there's a Sower of Temptation
takes
for that Tarmogoyf. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Although Luis is tapped
So,
out right now, so
that does give.
That's relevant. Gives
Brett
him
a chance to play some spells, like not 1-drops, because he can just activate the top and draw.
right, exactly.
Although the 1-drop can serve as bait for the bigger things, right? You
Yes.
cast your Mother of Runes, and he's like, well, if I counter it.
Or
does that
even
come
if it's
down?
a Swords of Posture, say he casts the Mother of Runes, Luis will use his top,
And he
but
can-
in response, he can Swords. So if 2 1-drops, if one of them Swords, because Swords is very valuable here.
Right, so he taps 2, and he's just going to go for it. Here comes Tarmogoyf. Luis
And
flips.
we have a
Counterspell.
counter spell on top.
Brutal.
Counters.
He also knew that was there.
Yeah, he counters
And so it looks
the
like
opposing
Brett doesn't have
Tarmogoyf.
any action here. Because he's got essentially 6 mana sources in play.
And
Another top.
Now that shuts down pretty much all 1-drops.
Yeah.
The second top is surprisingly valuable.
Yeah, plus you can just, like, crack it and, like, crack a fetch land and, shuffle
Right,
it
you
away.
can
draw a
always get
card.
rid of it if you want to, but you don't always want to.
Right.
The thing is, the counterbalance is weird that you don't need that many cards in your hand. Like, I get mocked for playing Curse Scroll. But when you have the game, like, when you're doing what you need to be doing, you play out a lot of your cards. You just use your spells. Oh,
So
did he
Brett
draw
Allen,
another
Brett Allen attempts to resolve a Tarmogoyf, a second
He
one
did
in
draw
a
the
row.
counterspell. And
And
looks like it's going to
Luis
stick.
looks like he
spell?
is.
See, if I were Luis, I would have kept the 2 on top of the deck. Because especially with 2 tops, you can just draw them at will.
Right.
So it looks like that Tarmogoyf sticks.
But, I mean, the...
Okay, so
There's a Swords to Plowshares for the Tarmogoyf, and there goes the Tarmogoyf.
And Brett's starting to look a little dejected.
yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like he
Hand.
doesn't have much. The thing about it, it doesn't look like Brett is flooded, but he very much is flooded this game. This is why Legacy decks don't play that many lands. Brett has 6 mana sources in play, and he's already played a Wasteland, so like essentially he's now drawn 8 lands and only about 4 spells.
Right. And
This
those 2 vials not being able to be used is such a blowout. Like, that's just like a double
It doesn't
mulligan.
help him. Yeah, it doesn't protect the spells that he actually does draw. It just has to run them out there.
So meanwhile, I believe, I think that Goyf is a 3/4, although not entirely sure because I thought that.
Yeah, I mean, there's swords, land, creature for sure
yeah.
on the graveyard. Oh, and
Okay,
yeah.
so that's a swing for 5.
Yeah, I don't think there's a sorcery, and there wouldn't be an artifact.
No.
All the artifacts and enchantments are in play.
Brett's got 2 turns to come up with something. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Even if he finds a grip, I don't know if it's gonna
Yeah,
be enough.
Yeah.
I'd be impressed if Brett can come back this game.
And there's counterspell in his hand too.
Yeah.
And a brainstorm, I think I saw.
A brainstorm helps put
I'm just saying,
This
it's just
game's
another
over.
way to.
And there's only 2 cards in Brett's hand, I believe. Yeah, this has been very aggressive with his lock. Like, he has such an advantage. I would literally be doing nothing.
All right, I think that might be it. That looks like the slow draw of defeat.
Yeah.
Looks at
Oh,
the
there's another-
third of the third
yeah.
Aether Vial. He slips it up. Mother Runes, Swords, Aether Vial.
Still had all these 1-drops.
LSV takes the match.
Yep, that's that.
What record does that put him at?
5-0.
5-0.
Well, is it 5-0 or 4-0-1?
4-0-1. He got
He had the draw, yeah.
So Louis says 4-0-1, and is it? I assume Brett the same.
Brett's probably 4-1.
Yeah, Brett
That
was
was
undefeated.